Best Podcast Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
I am just witnessing a brofest right in front of my very own eyes.
Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hi, Alex Gertzberg.
What you doing, dude?
You know, I am putting my phone on airplane mode.
What a coincidence. That's
Yes.
what I was doing, too.
I'm going to send one more text, though, because
who's
someone
it to?
to Samantha, because we're going to the big Cavs game tonight. By the time this airs, we'll have swept the Toronto Brontos.
Right.
And so I'm away. I did go buy little brooms from the hardware store.
Right.
I'm hoping they're going to let me in. Only
Because of all the sweeping that's going to be happening.
Exactly. And only because my friend is an attorney, I made sure that I printed out the list of things that the Cavs said that I cannot bring. So I have a great argument when they say, I'm sorry, but you can't bring the little brooms in. I'm going to pull out my little piece of paper and say, but I went through carefully on your
Brooms
website.
Are not on
Brooms
this
are not
list.
listed. Now, sticks are listed, but mine are just the handheld broom that doesn't have the stick.
Are you really bringing a broom to the Cavs
I am
game?
so really bringing a broom.
Really?
Yeah, man, sweep. So I got to stay with the Raptors this weekend at the Ritz-Carlton.
I saw the Facebook
yes,
picture.
Yes. And did you see the live video of them coming in with their heads down? So John was outside having a cancer stick, so I was waiting in the lobby, and here pulls in the bus. They take a bus from the Ritz-Carlton, which is in Tower City.
Right.
They get on the bus, and they go to the Gund, or Q.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, what, a 3-second walk?
Yeah, but that makes
They
sense.
can't
'cause
walk through Tower City as a team, although it
They'll
would
get
be
heckled.
intimidating. It would be if they walked hand in hand through Tower City. That kind of like the football team does. That would kind of be.
Yeah, but they would get heckled real bad, and people will, that would get in their heads. Do you know one time I was taking depositions in Cincinnati, and I stayed at the same hotel as the Chicago Cubs, and there was this throng of fans that follow them from Chicago.
There were Raptor people.
And I was in the hotel, and they had roped off the lobby so that they could walk through without getting hassled by Cincinnati fans. And I got in right behind them, and I walked out. And when I walked out, there were all these like paparazzi and fans out there. And I did one of these. You can't see because you're at home. But I walked out pretending I was one of the baseball players.
That is funny.
And people were
booing you?
No, because they were Chicago fans.
Yeah,
but I could tell a bunch of them were like, "Who's that? Is he a rookie? Did they just draft him?"
If you watch my live video and maybe Nellie can share it, John walks in holding up his Cavs shirt. So it's all these 8-foot tall human beings, and then John. And John's going like this with his shirt on.
Silly.
But yeah. So that was fun.
I know John smoked. Come on, John.
I know, it's 2018.
Let's go, dude.
Come on,
dude.
Gosh.
Anywho, you were late today, Molly, by a few minutes.
Late. Okay, so
you're never late. You're always early.
Things at the Gebler house. We got a floor today. Nellie, applause.
Yes, that's huge.
We got a floor today. So I had to bring Brooklyn to work today, which was like the first time ever. It was crazy.
Let's back up. For those that are just tuning in to this episode for the first time.
We've talked about my kitchen.
Well, no, we have. But there's, I'm sure, going to be a lot of listeners who haven't heard the prior episodes. And the short version is that you have been going through a kitchen remodeling odyssey involving...
Odyssey sounds like something you'd want to go through. Hell maybe would be better.
Lots of delays, crappy contractors.
Yes. unresponsive contractors.
Yeah. So you've been cooking on the floor.
Microwave.
Yeah.
And
for
eating
months,
out. Yeah.
For months.
Hence my ass.
How many months has this Odyssey been
Well, we
going on?
started the sit down
Yeah.
in right before Thanksgiving.
Jeez, oh man.
We've been without a kitchen, like literally raw, nothing in our kitchen since February.
Today is May 7th, 2018.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
All right, so you got a new floor today.
Got a new floor. Well, half. It's not all there
Yeah.
because, of course, the bathroom, because we're just doing, we're doing the front hall. We're combining the living room and the kitchen together. So he's like, oh, I can't put it on there. We're going to have to take up the floor. Blah, 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 blah. So that's going to be another couple bucks. They're taking up the floor. And, So I tried to get gas. And I put my card in. It said blah, blah, blah. And I had to go back in. He's like, just here, I'll run it here. Went back out. It was a 40-minute attempt on gas. So
40-minute attempt on gas.
Yeah, nothing
Because
wrong with it. Just the pump. Something was up, and just had to move my car. It was crazy.
You couldn't just go to another gas station.
Happy birthday, Alex Gertzberg.
Thanks, Molly Gabler.
It's Alex's
Today is my birthday. It's true.
22.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
They let me into law school really early. And,
You're like the Doogie Howser
I've been
of
practicing for 18 years.
Okay.
Since I was an infant. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Today's a good day.
And you're gonna celebrate by a Cavs sweep.
Yeah.
love it.
A good friend of mine is taking me to the Cavs game, and
Do you have fancy seats?
I don't know. I assume.
We're up with
In
the
those
peasants.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm not used to. You know that.
I know.
Yeah,
You're
so-
highfalutin.
Yeah.
I don't know where our seats are, but I'm really excited to go because I've been vicariously going through you on
Yeah,
Facebook.
I think I have been to every home game during the playoffs. I think I may have missed one.
Wow.
I may have missed one. And then we went to New York City last weekend, and we watched the game at this place called Brother Jimmy's. We watched it with Casey Cott, which is super fun because he's the
Broadway
Riverdale,
game.
And he's gonna Riverdale. He's on Riverdale. Brother's on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
He's on Riverdale,
Got it.
which is going. Well, we won't won't do any spoil alerts, but we were watching it at a place. It's like down in this basement. It's all Cavs. Posters and banners, and everyone had Cavs shirts on. And I even asked this person, like, what's the connection? She's like, there is none. You guys are just fans. And the place was packed. Everyone had Cavs. It was a Cavs party in New York City. It was
You know
great.
what I notice is the Cleveland sports teams are beloved by
They've
people
got backers
outside of
around.
Yeah.
Buckeyes is another one. You can always find a Buckeye bar.
Maybe it's the location. Maybe it's the fact that it's like East Coast.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Presumably, what I don't. Yeah,
I thought it was just going to be a gathering, but when I got there and I saw like the walls
Everywhere.
were covered in Cavs stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Interesting.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
So, what is the ETA for your kitchen at this point? What is the best guess?
Alex,
What do you think? Is it this year?
I'm going to go with July.
Wow.
I really wanted Blossom Time, but now it's all one, like the flooring, Falls Flooring in Bainbridge. Everybody, small local business, great. Duncan's a great guy. I've pushed him off. And I feel bad. He wants to get paid, but I'm just like, it can't be this week. It can't be this week.
Right.
So finally, I said, you know what, just come in. And then the countertops, I took all my business from the one place and gave them a big FU. And I then went and spent $6,000 at the other place in refrigerator and oven and my countertop and everything. And they're on the ball. The countertop's been measured. I'm waiting for them to contact me.
So just to be clear, you had a really lousy experience with one hardware store that did not deliver as promised,
Yeah.
and we won't say who they are, but we will
totally can say who they are.
We will say that it rhymes
Blows.
with blows.
Blows, perfect.
Blows.
Well, let's just call them blows.
From now on, they're going to be blows.
Yeah. You know, and it's one of those things where I'm mad at myself for not taking my own advice and shopping local. You know, but we were kind of, you know, credit card handcuffs.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get the 12 months, same as cash type of
Sure.
deal. So, and it has just been, it's been a nightmare. We've called corporate. We called the Secretary of State's office. We've called, you know, you gave lots of advice. We canceled or disputed the charge on the credit card, which, you know, here we are. That's been 3 weeks. So we did the charge back. They were like calling me 3 hours later. They came in, and now the piece that is they didn't have right. It's now on 3 weeks of
What
not.
a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the general manager of Lowe's on your cell phone, and you text him every day, Friday, Saturdays, I don't care. You know that.
Come on, Lowe's.
Come on, Blows.
Dude.
Get with it. So how are you? How is your new house?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You got to come over. Yeah, I got to have you over there. Well, here's the thing about that, Molly, is it's just now springtime, right? And so people are starting to come out, and my yard, there's a big chunk of land there. It requires a lot of work.
I know we got some teens at our house giving a quote right now. I'll pass their name on
do
to
that.
you.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and inside there's a lot of work that needs to be done too. And what I'm realizing, being a single dude now again, is how little faith I have in my own decorating abilities.
I think we've already had this. Oh, decorating
abilities.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I know enough to know that I should delegate that to somebody else, which I have. But that's kind of it's not taking as long as your kitchen, but there's a lot of things that need to happen to my house that are not happening because
Fast enough.
Even though, I mean, it's even just like decisions I need to make, you know. But I'm learning a lot about decorating. Like, here's something I learned.
Tell.
Right. A rug goes a very long way for a room, right? So like a boring old room, pop a rug even on top of carpet.
Yeah.
You know, and make it contrast with the other colors in the room, right?
Like a pop.
It makes it pop. Yeah.
Pop something.
Yeah. So I learned that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been calling my Amish friends quite a bit to come and do work on the house.
Why can't they come and do some yard work? Do they not do that?
These guys don't.
They're
These guys are the carpentry guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you my name for the.
Are they Amish?
No, they're Chagrin Falls students.
All right.
Yeah.
High school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, do that.
Yeah.
Anywho,
I just feel like we haven't seen each other in so long.
been ages.
There's so much.
Well, I saw you walking up the street the other day with Jessica handing out Art
Hop.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
was that?
we did that. It was fun.
Was it lovely?
Next Wednesday, but we probably won't. This won't be out by then. But next Wednesday we have a women-owned business shopping network or progressive shopping night. Which
Is it called
fun.
Wob Night?
It's a very we couldn't come up with something, so it's women-owned businesses in the Valley progressive shopping night.
Oh, I'd call it Wob Night.
I don't know. I think people might make up something. There might be some other wording for that.
What else has been going on?
Should we talk about our guest?
About my man Zoltan?
Zoltan. Yeah, Zoltan. I don't know. Tan or Tan?
Well, Nellie said the emphasis is on the second syllable.
Which is tan.
Zoltan. No, it's Zoltan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's not Zoltan.
T-A-N. We're gonna make it.
But you know what? Doesn't it sound like?
But the fact that I had called him the wrong name because he was our lunch guest.
Yeah. I didn't go to that.
He is the nicest person that you're gonna meet. He's so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well, he's got such a really eclectic background, right? Like, so he's got his fingers in a lot of different areas. I got a lot of questions about what competing on a professional level is like
Right.
mentally.
So he played football.
Yeah, he was
for the
he was on
Patriots.
he was on a Super Bowl winning team, I think. No, they lost that year.
Were you going to say losers?
Well, I don't know. It's the Pats. He played for New England Patriots. He played for Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers. Went to Michigan.
Ooh. But he's not from Ohio. He's
From Romania.
Yeah. So.
And where he enjoyed soccer, which is how he got into punting and kicking, right? And he.
Is it called football in Romania?
It's
soccer.
Soccer is called football.
Football, right?
I assume, or however you say it in Romanian. But in all of Europe, they call it football. They call soccer football.
Okay.
So he is now, and he's one of these football players that became a successful entrepreneur.
Right.
Right. And so now he's got this company that makes. Xero Labs is the name of the company that makes they make these things that you put on football helmets to prevent to minimize the damage from a concussion.
Right. We're going to talk all about that.
Yeah, I want to hear
since
all about
his lunch, we've investigated a little bit, and there's some disappointing comments from local schools about it. And I'll get into it with him.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
No, but it's so consistent with, what this podcast is about, but also what We Solve Problems is about.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I mean, he saw countless friends, suffer from these blows.
He had one. He had a concussion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a fun sport.
That falls under a lot of our essay.
Did you see concussions?
No, actually, I think there was one on concussions, but it was more of the tired.
The tired, yeah,
being tired.
Yes.
So if they're playing that all weekend long and then staying up till 3 on their iPads, you're probably going to be tired.
Right. But I feel like that because you're right. I did read a number of essays talking about
stress
and too much work.
Right.
Right. And I feel like that's always been the case. I feel like all through high school there were always students who felt like they were working too much, right? And then there were students who felt like they were working the right amount for what they wanted to accomplish.
I just felt that I was a little disappointed at the solving of it being it was either government or the school. Like no one took any not awareness, but like took it on themselves to fix anything they're doing. And nobody said, my mom, I need more rules. Remember the texting and driving, we saw a lot about, my parents need to step it up.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of the problems, not just stress level or too much work. It was any problem was to be fixed by the government or the school. No home, no parent, and no self. And I found that to be very interesting.
That is interesting,
It's the
Molly.
generation. It's the generation.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think that's our guest right there. Here, let me go look.
Okay. Drum roll, please.
How are you?
Alex.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to have you. And thank you for adjusting your time for the Cavs to sweep tonight.
I'm usually flexible, so.
Yeah, I love it.
you.
Yeah.
So, Molly, we have here
Zoltan. Tan.
Is it Mesko or Mesko?
Well, we simplify it. We
Right.
go Mesko. I just make a Mesko. but
Okay. If we were in Romania, would it be Meshko?
It would be Mesko.
All right.
Yeah. Cheers, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's
Cheers.
Alex's birthday today.
It is my birthday.
Oh,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Alex
Thank
Gertzberg.
you. Thank you.
Happy
You know,
birthday.
I there's nothing I'd rather be doing than doing this podcast
Oh my
with
gosh,
you
aren't
cats.
you an ass kisser?
That's true.
I love it.
No, it's totally
Such
true,
an
Molly.
ass kisser.
Molly, my kids were like, Dad, are you really going to work on your birthday? And I said, I don't consider it work.
It's not. It's not.
I'm
No.
here shooting the shit with you guys.
That's
you know,
right.
we're hanging out, we're talking, and we're
That's all we're doing.
we're hanging out, right?
all
This
we're
is
doing.
not
That's right.
this isn't work, really.
No, not at all. Not
Anyway.
at all. Although either is my job.
What are you turning today? How wise.
The big 4-2.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there once.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
we're
No, wait a
we're a
second. Wait a
decade
second.
apart.
It's 43. It's
You're
43.
32.
Okay.
Not 52, but
Yeah, I gotcha. And I'm not 52 either. I'm only a couple years older than Alex.
Yeah. It's actually 43. I was totally
Oh, really?
You're
That's
lying already.
No, that was
You're
an accident.
so vain.
I was used to saying 42 all the time.
That's funny.
No, but you know what's funny is my friend Hallie and I, we grew up together, and her birthday is May 6th, and every single year on May 6th, I text her and I say, "Ha ha, you're older than me."
Oh, that's
and then the next
cute.
morning, she texts me and she says, "No, I'm not."
Fine.
Anywho, so
welcome.
yeah,
Welcome.
Zoltan.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming.
I heard about this best podcast ever. So
It is the
on the
best.
streets.
It happens to be
on
the
the
best
streets.
podcast
Yeah,
ever.
it's
Yeah.
the talk of the town.
Yeah.
All have we hit? No, we haven't hit 50. We're just coming on 50. We
Yeah,
have to
this
plan
is
our
like
50th.
48 or 49.
Yeah, we're close. We're
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
We're very
yeah.
prolific, Zoltan.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what Zoltan sounds like to me? It sounds like if
Crouton. He already said that.
No, but it sounds like it would be a really good name for like a superhero villain.
For sure.
You know?
Why does it have to be a
well,
villain?
if you've seen the movie Big by
Yes.
the machine's actually Zoltar.
Zoltar.
oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I guess it doesn't have to be a villain. It could
Zoltan.
be but like
Who's
yeah,
your
it's
some,
very
some
father?
gypsy
otherworldly.
magician.
Yeah.
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 Which is kind of
Okay.
it's a good name.
It's a very strong name. What does it mean?
King. It comes
Oh,
from
see?
Sultan, right?
Oh,
When the
yeah.
Ottoman Empire invaded Hungary, and kind of stuck from there.
How do you say gold in Romanian?
Aur.
Oh, okay.
Why
Because
is
in
that?
Russian it's Zolotai. Zolotai.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Gold
maybe-
King.
Well, in Russian.
Even
anyway.
stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you speak Russian?
I do.
Nice.
Not very well.
Yeah.
I speak Russian the way a 4-year-old speaks
Yeah.
Russian.
I have one of my colleagues who I call up constantly. We're working on projects, and she speaks fluent Russian. I think she got out here in like the 80s, and I'll look up something on Google just to like mess with her,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Wait, you don't speak Russian, do you?"
To impress her,
Yeah.
not mess with her.
But you speak like 5 other languages.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
Which ones?
Romanian, Hungarian. So I'm Hungarian, born in Romania.
Right.
Oh, I'm Hungarian.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
50%. My dad's
Awesome.
100. And all I know is Yoshka. He's Joseph.
Yoshka. Yeah.
And chicken paprikash,
That's right.
which I do make the best of. But go ahead.
Awesome. I'll have to try it. So, yep, Hungarian, Romanian, then went to German school in Romania. So then I picked up English in 2nd grade. I started learning it, and I came over to the U.S. in 4th grade
Okay.
Wow.
and learned Spanish because it was so similar to Romanian. So I did Spanish all throughout
Oh, yeah.
middle school and high school.
I'd buy that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Molly and I were just sitting here talking about your
Amazing resume.
pretty crazy life, right? You start in Romania during communism, right? And not just any communism, but communism under like the most brutal dictator that communism ever saw, right? And then when you were a kid there was like shooting happening all the time because it was in the middle of a civil war, basically, when they
Yeah.
were trying to get rid of this dude.
I mean, it lasted a couple weeks, so it wasn't.
okay.
I mean, it was fairly brief.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, about 3,000 people died. So yeah,
Didn't they? Did they execute
they
Ceausescu?
did. It was
right?
on tape delay just to make sure the people believed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they took him out back and
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And then your parents were engineers, and then you came here, which engineers were a big deal in Soviet states, right? But they didn't make anything because it was communist.
And I think you talked about that.
Yes, yeah.
That is the reason they were here, and that he got chosen to be one of those selected because
Right.
of his education.
yeah. So it was the green card lottery. My dad always played the
Yeah.
lottery. Even to this day, I mean, I think we all buy a little Powerball ticket when it's like 500 million.
Once in a while.
Why not?
Yeah. Right.
But because you love your job, you'd still come to it, right?
Yeah.
The next day.
yeah.
So.
Right.
But yeah, so it was a green card lottery, 20 million applicants, 55,000 winners. I believe that comes out to 0.0275.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm here by a little probability, a little coin toss.
But that's
Wow.
you know, it's kind of like you gotta be grateful for everything all the time, but you got to be especially grateful. You know, your life would be very different if you were still over there.
Absolutely. And you know, I talk about probabilities. I think we've all overcome massive amounts of probabilities, starting with the Lucky Sperm Club, right? We won out of a few million, so
yeah.
So we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So and then but you played soccer before football, right? And that's what helped you become the punter kicker that you became.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. It was
Which is pretty common, isn't it? Right, among punters and kickers. Start with soccer.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't have many punters or kickers that do not start off in soccer. You have to have a feel for it. Just like in Olympic skiing, like if you haven't put on skis by year 3 or 4, like you're done for.
Right.
They're going.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, I got to cross that off my off my list.
Molly, you're so close.
Damn it.
You're so close to making the Olympics for skiing.
Damn it.
And then you go to Michigan, which Molly's really happy about.
Boo.
Do you hear that a lot?
I did that to him at the lunch, I believe.
So I'm
must hear that all
actually
the time.
going to my in-laws' house. They're having the Ohio State golf team over for dinner.
Oh, good for
So
them.
I did wear some like red socks.
There you go.
Just like, here you go.
You
Yeah.
don't get your ass kicked.
Yeah, because my nephew plays on the Ohio State golf
Okay,
team.
so there's some
So they're
saving
up
grace.
here in Beechwood for a pro-am. Actually, it's the U.S. Open qualifier.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay,
actually.
so they only messed up on you. Everybody else, they've guided correctly to the Ohio State.
Correct. But now, I was a big Buckeye fan, and I had the customized jersey and all that. And literally, Ohio State offered me 2 hours after I committed to Michigan. And I wanted to flip-flop, but my high school coach, who was college roommates with Jim Tressel, his name's Al Hadakovic, still coaches at Gilmore Academy now. He told me, just don't do it. Like, it's your word, you know.
Yeah.
At this
Yeah,
point.
right,
So,
right,
yeah.
right. Yes.
Oh, come on, Ohio State! 2 hours late. They should have been on the ball. The one thing that I'm supremely curious about, right, is the whole animosity between Ohio State and Michigan sports fans, and here's why. Okay, here's the thing about it. This is my view of it. Right, is just because there's a sports rivalry, that part I get, but to personalize it and then like. Right, like, do you catch shit all the time from Ohio people because you went to Michigan?
Yeah, but I know all the comebacks by now.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. The bottom line is, you're welcome for curing polio.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's it.
Well,
Otherwise, 30% of the population is still affected by it.
and it doesn't help the football team.
Let's round it out. So from Michigan, you go to the New England Patriots.
Yep.
And you went to the Super Bowl with them.
Yep.
Right? Which must have been amazing, right?
Yeah. To be honest, like, it was like a bowl game to me. I peeked behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I saw the business intricacies of it. But at the same time, of course, a little bit of myself, like, still remember watching Tom Brady in one of his first 2 Super Bowls, like, in the basement of my buddy, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. Like, this is pretty crazy.
And who did you play?
We played the Giants.
Okay, and
We did lose.
okay. That's maybe why you don't remember it so vividly.
Yeah. I did realize, like, how little control the punter has, right? I mean, I still remember Tom Brady, like, hunched over with the towel over his head crying. But I'm just like, I really didn't have that much to do with it. Like, I'm not that emotionally invested.
Okay.
Even though, I mean, it's weird to, perhaps I'm downplaying it, but even if 1% of me is not downplaying it, there is some truth there, where it's kind of like, well, I'm still pretty grateful that we got to this point.
The punter, the kicker, and the field goal kicker are not typically the same person, or they are?
At the NFL level, no. So
Really?
You're talking about the kickoff guy, the field goal kicker, and
the punter.
And the punter
Right.
are. So field goal kicker usually does the kickoff. Sometimes the punter backs up. I would say like the punter takes care of it like 50% of the time at the NFL level. Different swing. It's just kind of like playing baseball and golf at the same time. They're different,
Really?
right? The
See, I
ball
was
is
thinking-
moving when you're punting,
Yeah.
so you're using more of your hip flexor. You're trying to follow through straight over your kicking foot eye, right? Your left. For me, I'm a lefty. I follow through ideally over my left eye. And then a kicker uses more groin because he sweeps across his body.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really just
We
assumed
should
it
have
was
different
a
the-
muscle
podcast
memory.
right now.
Yeah.
And
I
I
thought it was the
completed.
same skill set, right? I mean, it's like a quarterback, still has a million different ways to throw, right? I mean, right?
Yeah, but you try to get in your slot as
Yeah.
far as where it is. It's kind of like asking a quarterback, like, all right, this time deliver it over the top. And then the other time deliver it like, if you guys remember Rich Gannon, he was like, sometimes he would sling it sidearm.
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
think we
It's
just
tough to-
learned, or we just figured out how to save the NFL some money. Just go
Right?
with one
Yeah.
guy and cut the other two
Well,
loose.
that's the thing, specialization, right? Do you do everything in your firm?
No, I try to
Right.
do as little as possible. Actually. That makes sense, actually.
Okay.
All right, so you went from the Patriots to Steelers or Bengals?
Steelers.
And then Bengals.
And then
right.
Bengals, yep.
All right, so how long did you play in the NFL total?
4 seasons.
4 seasons,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so and then you and then we're going to talk about the helmet in a second. But before we get off of professional football, here's my question to you, right? Well, let me back up.
Actually, let me
Yeah.
back up because
Oh.
Molly was like boo to the Bengals. To me,
no, it's a Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I'm okay
Pittsburgh,
with it.
Bengals. Actually, it doesn't matter to me. Football fanhood to me is like dead. Like it's going from one company to the other.
Yeah.
If one company is willing to pay you 2x, you're gonna take it. It doesn't matter. Like
So the players don't
I've
have
seen
the
how the
loyalty.
sausage is made. I've seen the Wizard of Oz is fake. Like to me,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And I've seen like a lot of the characters, what they've done, and people obviously cheer in ignorance, right?
Right.
You hang out with the person until you find out they've done something terrible. Until you find
Right.
the skeletons are in their closet. So
Right.
to me,
Well,
it's
I'll
kinda
be
like
honest. In my defense, once they started kneeling for the national anthem, I did not watch one NFL football game this entire past
Interesting.
season.
So I went to University of New Hampshire's law school just a couple weeks ago to discuss that, and had a judge and Supreme Court guy in their law school. It's pretty cool. A couple representatives from the NFLPA Players Association. It was pretty cool to discuss.
I
Yeah.
wonder if they saw a. I mean, I may have gone to one Browns game a year
Mm-hmm.
or so, but I wonder if they saw a decrease at all.
So there was a it was a 12% drop in viewership, and 28% of those 12% accounted that kneeling for them stopping to watch.
And what
Yeah.
about financial? Did they do any numbers for that, for ads or anything like that?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's still increased the Super Bowl ads, so I don't think people want to mess with
Right.
not being a part of it.
Right.
Like Budweiser, how could they miss it, right?
Yeah, I was impressed at the Cavs game. They sang the Canadian national anthem first, and then our national anthem, and we were in line quickly trying to get a Diet Coke because we had just been on the floor and I was a little tired. I needed something to sip on, and they stopped all the. And I'd always been in my seat by that time, so I'd never been on all the. John's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, and it was the Canadian national anthem, and all the workers behind the counter said that they had to wait, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So while you were playing football, were you taking notes in your mind at that point? Were you conscious of concussions and starting to create thoughts and processes, or
I mean, in
you
high
weren't even
school,
there?
I knew just qualitatively knowing the headaches I got. I think I played like 5 weeks at a hitting position, a defensive end and tight end. I had constant headaches, and I was just like, this is enough with the ibuprofen. Like, coach, it's also an opportunity cost that I don't practice kicking while I'm playing this other position. So I know there's some money here as far as scholarships go, because I remember playing Brush High School.
That's
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
had
Home of the Brush Arcs.
they had Roy
Scary.
Hall, who ended up being a wide receiver at Ohio State, and it was the final game, like super cold, and the special teams coach came up to me and he's like, "Yeah, that guy's going to Ohio State on a full ride." I was like, "What's that?" It's like, "They pay for your school." I was like, "What?" So I was 6'3", 155 pounds. At that point, and I gained 55 pounds by starting to lift the first time in my life over the course of 1 year.
Junior to senior year or
freshman to sophomore
freshman
year.
to sophomore? Wow.
I was like, wow, I can actually save some money. Because my parents came over. They were 40 years old, right? I mean, imagine coming in to a new country, leaving your family, friends.
Alex came from Russia.
You came from Russia. That's
Moldova.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Moldova. So that's
We're
Romania.
neighbors.
That's
I know.
Romania.
Sorry.
We're
I mean, they
neighbors.
speak Romanian.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's awesome.
We're practically related.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what
Yeah.
the difference between Romania and Moldova, one big one, is that Moldova is universally considered to be the most miserable country on the planet in terms of like happiness. Right?
Oh, I'm sure. But also, I mean, there's the Ukraine before you get to Russia. So
Right.
you are Moldovan.
No, it's very. My grandma spoke before she just passed away. She spoke Romanian pretty well, and so did everyone in her family. Yeah,
Nice.
We're related. I'm
Nice.
telling. We're cousins.
Yeah.
So you were born?
I was born in Moldova.
Wow.
I came over when I was 4.
4. Okay. Yeah. And I came over when I was 11. So they say if you come over before you hit puberty, like you can still adapt to the accent
Right.
Okay.
Right.
or take it away.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't hit
Gosh,
puberty yet.
I am
but
just witnessing a bro fest right
I'm
in front of
telling
my
you,
very own eyes.
we're cousins. Here's what I wanted to ask you about football.
Yeah, we
though,
cut you
right?
off, sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's typical on this
I was
show.
taking too long anyway with my question. What most impresses me about professional athletes, though, even though I can't ever remember any sports statistics about them or care about them, is the discipline that it takes to become a professional athlete and maintain that for 4 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, lacking discipline as I do, I try to
Amen.
study.
I doubt that.
I try to study what it takes to have the kind of discipline that you must have, right? So obviously you work hard. There's the hard work that's a given, right? You put in the hours, that's a given. I want to know what is happening in your head to make you go above and beyond consistently, physically, mentally, emotionally, to do all of the work that it takes to become a professional athlete. Like, what's happening to give you the discipline that you got?
Yeah, I guess there's 2 points to that I can think of.
Yeah.
One being the endurance of boring, like just knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's basically a marshmallow test, right? The 4-year-old kid gets the marshmallow.
Yeah.
If you wait 15 minutes, you get 2.
Right.
That's basically it, right? Just try to get through your homework, right? And you'll be rewarded for it. And
that reward is what?
I mean, my reward
you?
was free college.
Okay.
Right. And I did not think about Division I. I was thinking I'm going to go to Case Western. I'm going to go to Carnegie Mellon or Wash U in St. Louis, and I'm going to get like 40% paid for. And I never took up a summer job because I knew I would delay that gratification of that couple $1,000s in my checking account to get a few $10,000 in my checking account of
Right.
value, right? And Michigan being out of state at this point, it costs $55,000 a year, just for
Right.
tuition, not room and board included, right? So to me, that value was a good investment. It was a calculated investment. And the other thing, kind of related to that sense of delayed sense of gratification is kind of like the vision of what do you actually enjoy about the sport? Like, well, I love the crowd cheering or the oohs and ahs after a nice punt, especially at the high school level. You had a lot of mediocre guys, and then I would hit one and you could just hear the stands, and it was pretty cool. Obviously, that didn't happen in college or the pros as much, but it's still fun.
How did you learn that delayed gratification muscle? How did you first acquire it?
Yeah, I would, it has to do a lot with, I would say, the nurture of my parents. Both of them are, as soon as I got home, I had to do my homework, and never waited till the night. I'm not a night owl. I'm a big kangaroo in the morning. So
Got it. And then were you you must have been resilient too, right? Because it couldn't have been success, right? There had to have been bumps in the road.
Oh yeah.
Right. So how do you deal? How did you? What was the resiliency muscle that you had to have acquired, and how did you acquire that?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I love sports, and that's why, we can, whenever you want to segue into my company, I love the lessons that you learn from it without being a fatal lesson, right?
Yeah.
And you get to transfer it over to your professional business career because you have to experience failure. Like there's no, I mean, when everyone gets a participation trophy, that's
right.
no bueno, right?
And your experience with failure, is it? Do you welcome it? Do you expect it? Do you bounce back easily? You must.
I guess it has to do with the same thing with the feedback loop.
Yeah.
When you're asking someone after a meeting or
right.
something went wrong, like can you give me some feedback on it? It's a tough pill to swallow, but if in 1 year you'll be 10x better because of it,
right.
then why not do it? And I guess that comes from a little bit from our European roots, where it's kind of like we say how we feel it is, because you just, and even from the professional side, from professional football, I learned the ultimate feedback loop, because the NFL is the only league where your contract is not guaranteed. Now, you're guaranteed money, your signing bonus, yes, you get to keep that. But whatever is, I guess I lost my train of thought there, but what I should say is you have 17 different paychecks, and you could be cut throughout that whole process, throughout the whole season. If you have more than 2 games in a row, you're in trouble. And you better adjust. You better be able to take feedback.
Yeah. So those skills, those muscles, obviously you took into business, right?
Yeah.
Good
Absolutely.
segue,
Yeah.
Alex.
Thank you, Molly.
Great job.
I'm going on break. That was it for today. No, but because I really think about failure and how the fear of failure really prevents people from putting themselves out there and solving problems and starting businesses.
Yeah,
right?
But I would say the ultimate fear of failure, of disappointing others, is also a great motivator, right?
Yeah.
But it's those little non-fatal mistakes
Right.
that you shouldn't be afraid of.
Right.
And it's how you bounce back.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people who maybe stay in that dip
Yeah.
of I crap, I didn't do it right, and then they stay there. They don't bounce back up. They just get stuck in that.
So just as an aside, it's interesting. It's something you just said. There's this book called The Four Tendencies that I've been reading, right, by Gretchen Rubin.
Oh, yeah. She's the Happiness Project.
Yeah, exactly. So she talks about how some people are more motivated by external pressures, right? So like not disappointing others, right? And some people don't care about those at all. They're more internally pressured.
So I know that's like the second level, which I would love to be the first level, but yeah.
Their one level is they are equally motivated by both external and internal motivations, right? And I've been trying to figure out which one I am, right? And then there's
I
one,
know,
and then
but
there's
you have to figure it out. But I know.
What do you think it is?
You have to figure out yourself.
Well, I think of the four tendencies, one is where you rebel against both external and internal ones, and I think that's I don't know if that's what I am, but I think it's probably equal.
You're bothered a lot by what other people think about you or say about you.
I get really angry about disappointing clients, for sure.
Yeah.
And employees. You're right. That really I take things really personally. Yeah. Which one do you think you are? You gotta be both, I bet.
I do like to please the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the jokester. I was the class clown, the locker room clown. So, yeah, I would say there's a lot of external motivation, but a lot of intrinsic, like let's find my true self, yada yada.
Yeah.
I
kumbaya.
try to ignore everything that's going on inside.
Well, see, I think that you're all internal.
Really?
Yeah.
See, but
I
we
do.
can't be all internal because then we wouldn't wear clothes.
Well, right.
I'd wear my
Good
Speedo
one.
every day.
Right.
Yeah. I think I try to ignore that head of mine all the time.
No. It's not that you completely ignore external to the exclusion of internal or vice versa. It's
But
which
it doesn't
one,
bother
which
me.
one drives you more to accomplish things. And I think that you're driven more by internal commitments
Right.
than by
I don't
external
really
ones.
care what you think about
Exactly.
That's
No, exactly.
why I
That's what I'm
sing
saying.
on my YouTube
I really
channel.
wish that I
which
had a-
Zoltan is going to sing with me. I know it. You're
Oh,
going to sing
in
in the
your
car with me one day.
Nice.
Anywho, let's
Yeah.
talk about concussions and helmets.
And your company.
Yeah.
It's one in the same. I mean, the birth of this contraption, if we could call it that.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to call it a helmet because it's not a helmet. It's something that
It's
goes
an add-on.
An
Yeah.
add-on to the helmet. It was birthed out of your company. That's kind of what you do at your company. Tell us a little bit about
actually the company was formed around that
Okay.
add-on device.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you left the NFL and you did what?
So I mean, involuntarily left the NFL. Right, the phone stopped ringing.
Right.
And I was twirling my thumbs on my couch, and I actually tried to come up with a couple things. I thought there was some. I really like compression socks,
Oh,
but we
socks.
all
Okay, you were-
have different ankle to calf ratios. So I wanted to design something that you could customize yourself by Velcro. On different segments of your leg. So that was my first project. That actually, it got my little wheels turning. And I've always been about, kickers are always weird with manipulating their pads and cutting things out and cutting the tongue out and whatnot. So I've always, and my dad being a mechanical engineer, he let me just hammer everything away in his shop. So it was fun. My mom would bring home from her lab sulfuric acid, and I would use an eyedropper and disintegrate ants in the driveway. Sorry,
Nice.
PETA, don't call me.
Yes.
So anyways, I was twirling my thumb on my second project, and I really thought about it. I've always thought about what is a thing that I could invent that's a pain in my ass that would solve the pain in my ass problem. And the pain in my ass problem was seeing, well, first and foremost, I couldn't play a collision position because I just couldn't take. I'll admit it. I was, a little chicken about it. But then I saw my teammates going through it. Now, in college, I had more of a fraternity with the kickers, punters, because there was 3 kickers, 3 punters, 3 snappers. It was 9 guys in a room. We could shoot the breeze all day. But in the NFL, there's only 1 kicker, 1 punter. The kicker had 3 kids. So I was like, hey, who wants to hang out? Well, the linemen wanted to hang out. And I saw what they were going through from a very temporary basis.
Wow.
And there was one guy graduated from a Big Ten school and got a concussion, and for 6 to 8 weeks couldn't be in a brightly lit room like this one. And I was like, wait, what?
That's crazy.
If this happens to an adult, what happens to a middle schooler or a kid in his junior year in high school? How's that going to deter his LSAT scores? Not LSAT, excuse me, PSAT or SATs or ACTs, right? And I got to thinking, what could really, what has been tried before? And what's been tried before are some type of a soft foam, which they've proven that now if you hit at any angle, it'll divert the vector of the hit right into your spine. And that's not good because spinal loading. Right. So you'll crush your vertebrae and be paralyzed. You have to maintain
Which is what's inside of a helmet, no?
Correct. But you still have the glancing effect on the outside. Right?
Okay.
But don't they also have air in there?
They do. But it
air
doesn't
and foam.
budge much because if it would budge, then it would come down on your nose and break it.
Okay.
Right? Because if this thing moves a lot.
Yeah, I was surprised my kids played football for 1 or 2 years ago, and I was surprised to see them pump air into that.
Yeah.
Is that a
more
new
of a
thing,
form
or?
fit? No, it's been around.
It's always been like that.
Yeah, it's been.
Okay.
I mean, always past few decades, but
Okay.
yeah. So I was thinking, what could I use? And most inventions are just combinations of pre-existing things. So I used the leaf spring technology. Right, you have coil springs in cars, but you also have the leaf spring, which is used in a Corvette, or it's actually adopted from the semi truck or the train car, or Jeeps use it a lot.
In what? In the shock?
In the shock
shocks?
system.
Okay.
Correct. So more of a straight flexion system,
Yeah.
right? Just think of my hand flexing and absorbing shock.
Yeah.
And that's what we placed on the helmet. I literally self-taught myself on YouTube how to 3D design and like free AutoCAD software. And then 3D printing came around about 10 years ago, and I was right in the middle of that, where you could print something out for $20 if you wanted to.
That's crazy.
And I literally used the qualitative method of putting it on my helmet. I hit my head in the door frame. It hurt less than with just the helmet on. And I knew I had... Yeah.
Back up. You 3D printed your prototype?
Well, not myself. I sent it off, right?
Okay.
There's a couple companies out there, and even locally now that
the high school would do it.
But
Twin Falls High School has
really
multiple ones. Yes.
Wow. The adoption curve is huge,
Yes.
right? And I knew I had a pretty good product after that. And when I really validated the situation when I was up with the law firm up in Ann Arbor.
Like when you're sending this 3D, and this is maybe something that Alex could answer. When you're sending this, are you afraid of anyone? Have you patented at this point? Like
no,
because you're just shipping this off for someone to take it.
No one knew what it was. It was
okay.
like it looked like a tongue scraper or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just one leaf, and I screwed it in, and it was just one leaf on top of it, right? So it's like this is the helmet, and you just flex it on top, and it just added stopping distance. Think of driving your car at 60 miles an hour on the highway, and instead of 100 feet, you get 300 feet to stop, which is the more comfortable experience. That's all it is. Simple physics equation, right? Mm-hmm. So with that said, got the part back in, tested it on my door frame, and then I went to...
Is there a video of that?
I technically, in 2014, made below the poverty level as a free agent.
Nice.
So the law firm decided to do it pro bono for me.
Oh, very nice.
And I knew I had them going when they were hitting their heads with the helmet into their rich mahogany conference room table. So I was like, this, and they're just
That's
giggling,
funny.
and I was like, this is awesome. So,
Yeah. So,
that's
okay.
great.
You designed this, you had it 3D printed. At some point, you decide this can sell, right?
What year are we in?
So that was 2014 when I recruited my actually didn't meet him at Michigan, but I met him in Pittsburgh. So had New England not cut me, I would have never met the guy. But
God works in mysterious ways.
Right.
Ain't that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what happens over the next 4 years now with this product?
So he's the chemical engineer, but
Is this Rizzo?
This is Ben Rizzo.
Ben Rizzo.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Did our
So
guy.
smartest guy I know. He studied for his GMATs for a week, and he's like, yeah, just pick up a book, learn your 80-20. Did you know, like, your essays on the GMAT, they only have 2 minutes per question, so just detail the hell out of the front, and they'll give you the benefit of the doubt on the latter half, and that's how you rig the test. One of the tips, it's just like the 80-20 rule. And he got his master's from UT in Austin, University of Texas. Then he got 99 percentile on his GMAT, so he went to Harvard Business School. And he took this idea to commercialize it as a business plan. And there was a class that actually helped develop the business plan. There was 4 others that he recruited. One was like a JD MBA. He was doing Yale Law School, commuting to Harvard Business School. The other one was a Harvard Medical School guy doing the MBA route as well.
Any of them single for my daughter?
Yeah, they all got engaged within that 2 years. I think the MBA is more of like, let's be honest, it's more of a networking thing. Like, if you're not going to Stanford or Harvard, it's like.
So these guys are these guys your partners?
So Ben is my primary partner.
Okay.
He's the full-time guy. Everyone else kind of helped out on the side there. But
now, what did you graduate with? Like, what was your major?
So I was in undergrad. I was a finance marketing major, and then my graduate degree is in sport management and communication.
Okay.
So these other guys were your founders, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say Ben and I kind of recruited them into the picture. But what they did was essentially they gave us the business plan, and Ben's really good. He got his master's in product commercialization from University of Texas, and he's the executive guy now, making the decisions, but more the hype master sales guy here. But anyways, the big stamp of approval that, and you asked about demand, how do we prove demand? Part of that business plan was reaching out to coaches in several different states.
Yeah.
Over the course of actually just a couple weeks, we had $85,000 in orders, just in letters of intent to buy when this
Really?
thing was available, because we tested it in an independent lab out in Maryland, and we were able to reduce the impact force by 55%.
It's amazing.
So it's kind of, making anything 50% better for,
Right.
and we got the injection molding costs out of the factories. We got a couple quotes, and it turned out to be that we could price this thing and keep the lights on for $60 a unit at the retail cost. So
Which is
to improve your
crazy.
son's helmet
Yes.
by 55% for $60.
Yeah. So let me, since you did our lunch, and I'm going to not name any school names, but since you did our lunch, somebody that was at our lunch went to their school, to their, I think, middle school or high school, and said, listen, can I get you a meeting with him? I think these add-ons should be on all our helmets and blah, 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 blah. And their comment was, which I find so unbelievable that he would even say it, but I'm sure it's maybe some things that you're hearing, was that some other school tried it and they got made fun of, and he doesn't want his boys being made fun of.
Yes.
Are you kidding me right now?
I don't find that surprising.
So
at
that
all.
was
It's sad, but
that was an athletic director from a Catholic high school in Arizona.
Yeah.
He called me. He's like, no.
Well, this is a local school.
Oh, a local guy. Oh,
this
really?
This is someone since your lunch.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you even? Do you just want to say? I just want to slap. I want to slap the person without your add-on because.
Well, at the same time, if the parents want it,
Yes.
and you have control over your kid, right? Adoption will drive policy.
Yeah.
Like you have no control over that. But to my story, there
Right.
was an athletic director from Arizona, from a Catholic high school, who reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, we want to look at your product. It looks really innovative. Blah blah blah." Like, so it's not ready. We're still, we partnered up with Virginia Tech to do the testing. That's our partner university now, and we're going to do our final testing in May. But why don't you try this competitor? Because I was like, if we, raise the tide in the harbor, all ships will go up at the same time. And he's like, yeah, that thing looks ugly. I would never buy that. So it's kind of like, well, where are your priorities?
Mind blowing.
Really? Yeah.
Mind blowing. Would you have the same effect if it were inside the helmet?
There's only so much space inside the helmet.
Right.
What we're doing is we're extending the bumper of the car,
Yeah.
which you can take it off at any time. You don't have to use it in games. You can use it in practice if you want. Just like boxers using headgear in between their matches, their bouts.
Heartbreaking.
So here's the thing about that, right? There will be a tipping point.
Yeah, there'll be
I'm
one
certain
school
of it.
who mans up or woman's up.
There's this great YouTube video of an explanation of how trends tip, right? How something goes from being some unique.
Is it the
bizarre-
crazy guy dancing at the
Yeah,
concert?
yeah. Have you seen that?
Love that video.
But-
Have you seen it?
I've not.
You gotta see
you
it.
need
Yeah,
to.
it applies to your business for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically like
You gotta send it to me.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. You know what? Nelly post it. When
Yeah.
my sister will post it to this.
So you've been to Blossom.
Yeah.
So it's like a blossom because
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
hill.
music festival on a hill, and it's one dude acting like an idiot dancing, right?
Yeah, he's working.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone starts dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But it's not.
But it's
him.
just like three people.
It's the third guy you got to watch. That's what this. I forget who it is. I think it's. I forget who It's a very famous like billionaire guy who's giving this talk. It's a TED talk. That's
Okay.
what it is. And he goes, "Don't watch the first guy or the second guy. Watch the third guy."
He was really into it.
The
Probably,
third guy is the one who gets everybody else to join. Because the first guy, nobody joins. The second guy, people are like, "Oh, that's interesting.
there's
He's not
two
by
crazy
himself
people."
anymore."
Yeah.
But when the third guy joins, now you've got a group. And from a social science psychology standpoint, it's the third. When there's a group, that's when everyone's like, "All right, we all feel comfortable now,
Right.
looking foolish or." Being looking uncomfortable or whatever.
Right. But I love your idea with the parent. If the parents step forward, first of all, they could buy it for their son.
So we don't want it adopted. It has to be, the coach has to be
So you
okay
do
with it,
want
right?
it as
Because
a
it's not
team.
like Johnny can just show up to practice like, yeah, take that off.
Right.
But yeah, we do want to. I mean, if it's a group of parents that are going to go up to the coach and be advocates for it, absolutely.
Right.
With that said,
Yeah.
that little reach out campaign, we had a 23% cold call conversion rate. So while, if you're a brand for everyone, you're a brand for no one, right? But at the same time, we have to reach a tipping point.
What
And
about-
it might be hard, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
When you said
Yeah.
in May you're trying it, does that mean you're still in the
So,
finals? You're still
final
in the final
impact testing phases.
Okay.
Yes.
But tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the NFL that you went into their competition. How did that?
Oh, yeah. So we were invited by the NFL to the Super Bowl.
And did you find that very full circle?
It was, because I and the Patriots were in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. So it was
yeah.
weird. I was like, oh, I made it to the Super Bowl twice, but for different reasons.
Right.
And like Roger Goodell was in the room when we were presenting, and the Mayo Clinic and NBC Ventures. That's like their venture arm. But it was pretty cool.
So what happened? So you presented to them
Yeah.
the idea of incorporating it into all NFL helmets?
Not incorporating, but the usage, and not at the NFL level. We were just seeking their funding to help us in the launch.
It was
of
a
the product.
competition.
It was a competition. We made the
Oh,
finals out of 109
Right.
teams, so it was a really good experience, really good networking opportunity, and as my wife stated, you didn't win, but you got a ton of free marketing out of it.
Absolutely. And you necessarily aren't looking to put it in the NFL. You're
That's
even
not where
saying
our market is.
that
Yeah.
it's practice. It's not even games. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see it used during practices.
Yeah, and in the NFL, there was a 73% uptick in practice-related concussions. And most concussions, 58%, occur during practice because you have the mismatches between the freshman and the senior at the high school level sometimes. And you have more data points. You have 22 guys hitting each other on your team versus the Friday night. You have more evenly matched guys, and you only have 11 of your guys out there at once.
So, which it makes it even weirder that anybody would be concerned about being made fun of if they're wearing it
Yeah.
mostly in
I mean,
practice.
it's the first person who wore the Speedo to practice. So if
Absolutely.
it's going to benefit you, and the angle you
Yeah, but
work
that
with the
person
parents, you
shouldn't
tell them
have
about
worn
the
that.
yeah.
No.
Well, I didn't hear what you said.
Don't ever
They
Google
should-
my name with the Speedo.
Oh, we're
But,
totally going to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell me not
That's
to do
reverse
anything.
psychology.
Yes. Will you wear your Speedo when we're singing in the car?
Yeah.
This is a whole nother show
Really
now.
getting a kick out of the Speedo thing, Molly.
I just think they're funny.
Anywho.
Sorry. I got sidetracked.
I love what you do because it is so impactful, no pun intended. It is.
It's a no-brainer.
No wonder he was the jokester.
Oh, jeez.
Uh-huh.
No, but it really, we're talking about saving lives, right? You're talking about, like, preventing brain damage.
Improving the quality of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think you're saving lives. I mean, I think I watched that movie Concussion, and I was like, oh, I didn't know people were killing themselves over this, right?
I had a.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say how many, those guys that killed themselves, but how many suffer in silence, too.
That's right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I think I think I shared this with you, and I still need to make that contact. I think he needs to be introduced to Jeff Hoffman for sure. But I had spent the day with Bob Golick, and that was a big conversation that we had. Was just his friends and seeing all of the impact later on in years of concussions and what they've done to he was with the Browns.
Yep, absolutely.
Back in the day. But just what he's seen and what his friends have gone through. Yeah. And that's another person. Remind me, I've got to make a virtual introduction for you.
So you said that you've got already advanced orders, right?
Yep.
Like $85,000 worth of orders.
Yeah,
And
I mean that's minuscule, right? But the percentage is what
Yeah.
we're looking at. The 23% cold call conversion rate. So we called the high school coach. These are testing results. This is what it's going to look like. It's not ready yet, but would you put your name down for an order? He's like, absolutely. Let's talk. 23%.
So what? How much into the future are we talking before these things are rolling off the assembly line?
This summer.
Really?
So
Nice.
our final round of testing is May 22nd and 23rd at Virginia Tech, and then we're going to do some pilot testing with some semi-pro teams to get the qualitative feedback, make sure it's safe, and then we launch. And just one more stat, we reduced the likelihood of a concussion by 13x. So the biggest hit you can have, 120, 140 Gs, like, just a fullback meeting the linebacker in the A gap, right at right or left of the center. That hit is equivalent of that. 24%, 24.15% of the time you will be concussed. With the device on it, that drops to 1.8%.
Wow.
Amazing.
So,
Wow.
I hope for $60 again.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Have you
crazy
talked
right there.
Have you talked to helmet manufacturers about having them like pre-installed?
We have. We've spoken to two of them. There's I would say
Rydell.
4 players. There's
Right?
4 players.
Yeah.
I
Rydell.
won't say who.
Oh.
But
isn't that a helmet
if
place?
if
Rydell
you
is
do
one of the big
not,
ones. Yeah.
there's some big R&D costs to bringing out a new helmet, and there's some timeline to it. If you do not incorporate it into your helmet as a technology and you buy it as an add-on from us, then you're sort of admitting that your technology alone is not good enough by itself.
Sure.
Right?
Well,
Are
but
they picking up some liability too at that point?
So liability. I mean, we're gonna be insured, and then we spoke at the chamber meeting about there's a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt thrown around to parents, where it's like, oh, it changes the warranty on your helmet. It's like, do you know the difference between warranty and liability?
Right,
Like,
right.
we'll replace your helmet if it cracks. I've seen 2 helmets crack in my 15 years of playing football, of all the teams I've been on.
Right.
And we'll replace that $200. And the warranty goes away after 3 to 5 years anyway, depending on what level you play at. But liability, no one covers that. If your kid winds up in a wheelchair,
Right.
like, can't sue. Like, there's a sticker
Right.
on there. I mean, you can't.
That's a really good
yeah.
point. That's a great point. But what's crazy is that anybody would even give a shit, right? Oh, so I got to replace my helmet and pay for it out of pocket, or I get to save my kid's quality of life for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
so how are you even equating them, or equating them?
I'm glad I have girls.
Yeah. Well, here. So
Do you have a son?
I have a daughter,
A
2 years old.
daughter.
Yep.
Okay. If you have a son, will you let him play football?
It's tough. He'll be a kicker.
not without his product, you won't.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. So I love entrepreneurship, right? Our firm focuses on small businesses, medium-sized business, and entrepreneur startups. And Molly always hears me talk about at these things how I firmly believe that the mind of an entrepreneur is wired differently from someone who isn't, right? So, like, your risk tolerance is different, and your fear of failure is different. You tend to welcome failure more than people who don't take those risks, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking I would suspect that your experience as an athlete, right, and all the things we talked about earlier has informed how you feel about business and how you think about failure and how you think about risk taking.
Yeah. Well, I would say
statement?
even, in football, like,
Yeah.
I got bored of it. Like, I even got numb to the check I was receiving, which was great, thinking back in retrospect. But, the dopamine wouldn't fire anymore. And I tend to project into the future a little too much. I think too much, paralysis by analysis. And, right now my day job is working at IBM and analytics. So love working with numbers and projects and whatnot. But sometimes I look around the room in a meeting and I'm like, I don't want to be here in 30 years. Like, I don't want to be that person. And there's nothing wrong with being that person for some people.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, you know what? We're going to die anyway. Might as well ride the roller coaster a little bit. Now, risk tolerance. I always have the standard of deviation set in that I'll never hit rock bottom. I can always pick myself back up.
Right.
Do you think that comes from moving here and knowing what it could be or what could be, so you have that appreciation of life and living life because you know what it could be?
Yeah.
I mean, 11, you would have known the difference between America and where you were. I mean,
and sometimes I forget like how far I've come, and we all forget how all the stuff we've been through.
Right.
And then we pout and we get used to things.
Right.
But we constantly have to remind ourselves.
I was just listening to Amanda Berry. She was one of the girls who were in the house of that man for how many years were they in the house?
Yeah.
They just had their 5-year anniversary of getting them out. Right. And she was saying the same exact thing, that, when she gets up and she kind of whines because she has to brush her teeth, and then she forgets that she wasn't allowed to brush her teeth for, I forget how long they were in the house.
It's like 13 years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And they
She
were
was
never
chained in the
outside,
basement.
and they never, and so she kicks herself a lot when she gets up and complains that she has to, brush or take a shower. She's so tired that she doesn't want, and she's like, wait a minute, I wasn't allowed to take a shower. So,
I mean, why did you venture off on your own?
That's a great question, Zoltan. I think I was sick of commuting downtown. But no,
but you have podcasts to listen to.
Yeah,
I love
that
it.
is true.
No, it was mostly probably for similar reasons that you came up with this product. It was, I thought I could do it better. I thought that I could build a law firm better than the way other law firms
And you were
operate.
solving some problems that you saw happening in a law firm,
Right.
invoicing and not protecting your business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was just a Gertzberg commercial right there.
That was pretty good. Thank you.
I'll send
write
you
a
my
check
send you my
later.
bill.
Yeah. No.
So it's almost time for lightning round,
lightning round questions. Yeah. You ready for the lightning
which
round?
he doesn't know about.
I will try my
you?
best.
You want to go first today, Molly?
All right.
All right, you go.
What are you binge watching, or what have you just binge watched?
This is funny. I don't like to binge watch anymore.
Anymore?
I'll listen
Tell
to
me
a
why.
podcast.
Okay.
I'll read a book. This is not me self-promoting. I just I have a newfound urge to just learn. Even at Michigan, I wish I would have done way more research projects.
That is officially my favorite answer.
I
to your
am sure it
question
is.
right there.
And then what's on your mind? What's weighing heavy on your mind right now?
Right now, the fork in the road between the corporate life and this thing.
Interesting.
Are there other projects coming out of your business, or is it full focused on this right now?
Right now, it's full focus, but I have my ideas of I love the optimization of aging, of life, basically because I'm tall. When I'm 70, I still exercise because I want to feel 50. I want to get up out of the chair quickly.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I still keep lifting, and I'm a tall tree, so I'm going to bend over quick, right? I'm going to hunch
Yeah.
over.
You should meet my dad and hang out with him. He's 87 and still exercises every day. So
It's awesome.
That fork in the road is what every
a big-
entrepreneur
yeah.
goes through, and you get to a point with you've got security. You got security with your full-time job. You know that paycheck is coming in every single day, and you got a family, and you've got, a place that you can show up at every single day, and you've got predictability and comfort, or you've got unlimited upside and unlimited downside. Well, I guess there's a limit to your downside, but unlimited upside, but no safety net, no security net.
Right. And
So,
we talk about entrepreneurship. Oh, it's so awesome, but all we hear about is the survivors.
Right. That's right.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. You're on a desert island
Got it.
for at least 3 months.
And we know he's not going to be binging.
I hate bugs.
You're on a desert island, and you can bring with
And there's
you.
no bugs.
There's no bugs. You can bring any single author's entire collection. Who's the author?
I like 80-20ing a lot of brilliant people. Just finding out the quick bit. I love Tim Ferriss.
I love Tim Ferriss.
Nice.
Dude, Tim Ferriss is awesome.
Nice.
Do you like Fish the music?
So
That's the next
I
question.
have a story.
About fish?
No, there's a friend of mine who's a trust fund baby, and we've been trying to get him to have a career. And he's like, yeah, I'm touring with Fish. We were like, that's awesome. You're like setting up lighting. He's like, no, I bought a ticket to every concert. They're going.
That's about Alex.
That was my
And we were
college years
joking,
right
like
there.
the band's like, oh, it's that guy following us around. Like,
Oh no, there's
I
like
think they call
80,000 of
those
them.
roadies.
No, they're fish heads.
Oh,
They're called
fish
Fish
heads.
head,
Pardon
okay.
me.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
so you're a Fish fan.
I love fish.
He's a
I
fish
love
head.
fish. Yeah. All right. Same question. Wait. So you're saying you would bring with you the 5 books that Tim Ferriss wrote, which makes sense because they're about another 300 authors,
Right,
and,
right.
and brilliant minds. Man, I've got
Tools of Titans. I don't know if you've
I
dabbled
love
in
it.
that one. Yeah,
I love it. I and then Tribe of Mentors is his last one.
I
That's a
need
good
to
one.
dabble in that.
Yeah, they're both really good. It's brilliant because he's got this podcast where it's not as good as our podcast, but
Right,
you
well,
probably
I mean-
listen to his podcast, right? I love it. It's amazing.
I think I've written his name down to listen to his podcast.
I talk about him on this podcast a
I
lot.
think
Double
so.
R, double
Yeah.
S.
I can tell you this: there would not be a Best Podcast Ever if there was not a Tim Ferriss podcast.
Nice.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That
So
is.
Well, I would have my own,
where-
everybody, just to
You
be
would,
clear.
but there would.
I used his verbatim words. Invent something or go after a business that is a pain in your ass.
Yeah.
As far as the problem
Yeah.
that you're
And
trying
you
to
did
solve,
say that
and
earlier.
there's probably, if you have a problem with something very niche, there's probably another 10,000 in America that will have that same problem.
right. Right.
And you can test it quickly, right? You can fail quick on that.
Right.
Sorry, that's becoming a buzzword too. Fail fast.
Fail forward fast. Right.
Oh, well, then I'm right in sync.
I love Tim Ferriss. I will tell you that, like, the 4-Hour Work Week, right? Did you read that book?
Yep.
You tried that for a while.
Well, no, but what the hacks in that book I still use every single day when I think about email, right? Or when I travel.
Batching and all that.
Yeah. Or just,
Yeah.
the 80-20 rule, right? Just going through them and isolating the 20% of the emails that are responsible for 80% of,
Your
what
revenue.
matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, good answer. 2 good answers so far. Same question.
I feel like I'm going to strike out on the next
No,
one.
you're doing good. You're killing it.
Well, you might, because you're not going to say fish.
You can bring to that same desert island one
With no
musician's entire discography. Who's the musician?
So I'm that guy that likes randomness. Literally, I will put on Pandora. I will listen to every upper echelon of a genre, I guess I should say. Like the best of the best in that genre. Like we used to lift at Michigan sometimes. We had a weirdo head strength coach who's the first full-time head strength coach, Mike Gittleson, in America. He trained the Delta Force. Anyways, he would put on some weird stuff like Mongolian throat music.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
I know about that. Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
It's
but
crazy.
You got into it because everyone was like, I don't know, just being.
Were there at least drums behind the Mongolian throat music?
I think there
hope
was like
so.
some hand tapping.
Yeah. All right. That would make it okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard it?
No,
It's
another
crazy.
Michigan thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nelly, put some of that. Put a link to Mongolian throat music onto
Or
the.
just
Please
play
don't.
it throughout
It's the
our
craziest.
entire
Yeah.
podcast in the background.
It's crazy. Well, and what's crazy is watching them do it. Right. It's really something to see. Anyway.
Where's that?
Zoltan, what's the answer? Who's the musician? Is it Mongolian throat music? It can't be, because that would you'd have to kill yourself.
See, that's the thing. If I listen too much to something, then I do have to kill myself. So it's like, all right, switch it around.
Well,
Like,
you're
I'm very-
stuck, though,
yeah.
Zoltan. You're on the
I am
desert.
stuck.
I guess you're-
okay. Well, that's the thing. Like, don't you get sick of everything?
Okay,
I don't get sick
just
of
the
fish.
fact that he's he's working
He's
through it.
Yeah.
You're overthinking it.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere. You're stuck on the island. There's no bugs. We've already granted you that. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere. What are you going to listen to? You can only bring one. Only one, right?
Only one.
Only one.
Or do you say I refuse to choose? You can refuse to
And
to
go
choose
with no
and go with
music?
no music.
So actually, I will. Yeah, no music's not bad, but maybe I'll go with. I like to go on the indie rock channel on Pandora. Most of the time, the Lumineers come on, so
They're good.
Let's go with that.
They're good. Yeah, that's a good band.
Them.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Do you have
more of a Neil Diamond, Barry Manilow type of gal.
Do you guys listen to Spotify?
Yeah.
You ever see Sexy Sax Man on YouTube?
No.
So it's.
But I think we're about to.
After I do the Speedo look up.
So this has to do with my wedding. I played the alto saxophone in high school.
Nice.
And I busted it out after a decade of being in my parents' attic. And there's these twins from Michigan who I'm good friends with, identical twins. And they do this synchronized dance to, I can't remember the song, but it played at my wedding. What is it? Man, they would chastise me.
Is it Careless
right now.
Whisper?
Yes. Never gonna dance again.
How do you know that?
Because Nate Haskell,
Yes.
in the firm, just sent me a joke that apparently only musicians get.
Careless
but
Whisper,
I got
yeah.
it. But that's the sexy saxophone. Yeah, you know Careless Whisper.
I jammed to that all the time.
So
gonna
they,
get a kick
in
out of the
front
fact,
of
yeah.
like my wife and I's grandparents, they were able to attend, and all the kids there, they stripped down to their bikini style underwear while I was playing the saxophone.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Is there video
Are
of this?
they
There
the
is.
sexy
There is.
You gotta send it to us.
saxophone people?
They are
Like
dancing people. I was a saxophone guy.
So they're not the official sexy saxophone
Yeah,
people.
we need to.
No, they're not.
There's
they're not.
There's okay.
We-
but
you-
they've danced at 7 different weddings straight.
That is hysterical.
So their streak is well alive.
Maybe I'll come to my
that
Blossom
is
Time party.
hysterical.
Yeah.
All right,
my
last
gosh.
lightning round
Last
question.
one.
What is an embarrassing thing about yourself that nobody else knows?
I make myself pretty vulnerable. Like, I'll tell any story out there because if you're laughing with me or at me, it's the same thing for me. You're still having a good time. But let's go back to Romania.
Yeah.
3rd grade, we went into the mountains of the Carpathian Mountains.
Yeah.
And it was a 10-day trip, and we had only outhouses. There was like 10 outhouses straight. And I was going around the back of an outhouse to scare my buddy, and there was a little cutout window, and I was pulling myself up on the window, 3rd grade, I'm not that tall. And I go, boo, and he's like, oh my God. And I let myself back down onto the 2x4s, which are rotted, and I fall through the thing into waist height of human feces.
Oh my God. That's a great
There's
one.
flies buzzing around me. There was a river nearby that I jumped into, like a stream. Like I almost got taken away, but I was flushing out shit
Poop.
from between my toes.
That's awesome.
Alex
That's a great
loves
story.
poop stories.
Well, it's funny how
it does seem to be a
yeah, that question gets answered with reference to
Yes, it
poop
does.
a lot.
Yes,
but not
it
but that
does.
one, but it's usually like their own poop.
Yeah.
well, it could have been.
That's a great one. That's a good
Oh
one
my
right there.
gosh! All just to scare the shit out of somebody,
Yes.
Yeah.
literally.
But I'm the guy in a circle of friends, and I feel like we're getting there.
Yes,
where, like
we're-
I just
we're
keep
past
telling
that.
story after story, and then I cross the line, and I come right back, but then I'll cross it again.
No.
And my wife's the one that will like smack you in the back of the head. Like,
You're always allowed to cross the
Yeah,
lines in here.
the
The
line,
better.
The line here is very far away. You got nothing to worry about over here.
yeah, for work I'll be on conference calls, and it's like I'm pretty sure HR would mind about that, and I'll call myself out. Like pretty sure I could be fired. Anyone want to fire me right now? Like, I'm happy to leave.
IBM, give me a call.
I
We'll
think
talk
we
about
all
something.
kind of check ourselves now more with comments than we have in the past because of everything that has gone on.
Maybe.
I'll tend to.
I don't think we do actually.
No.
Oh, I do.
You do.
Am I looking at you wrong? Should I not be looking at you that
Yeah.
way?
But see, I can feel out people who can take it and
yes,
right, like
and that is important. You mean people
Right.
that
Yeah.
have a sense of humor
yeah.
versus people who don't?
Dudes, I would love to keep chatting, but I gotta
I
go to the Cavs game.
know. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so
I gotta
much
have
fun.
dinner.
Well, I feel like there's gonna be drinks involved here.
Yeah, we should get together. We
Yeah.
should talk more.
Yeah.
We could talk about
This-
Romania and Moldova and
Chagrin.
chagrin. There you go. All right, what did we learn today? Let's do a quick recap. We learned that Zoltan is making a cutting edge new helmet add-on that people should go to where.com. It's
Exerolabs.com.
Exero Labs.
Yes.
EXERO Labs.com to learn more about it. And then they should start talking about it because it's important. And that you should not...
Can I just say,
Please.
just, you're awesome. And then just meeting you, Alex, the attention to detail, I would hire you as an attorney in an
Really?
instant.
Go on. Stop
Even the filter to pronounce my name, that's my first signal. It's like, can I trust this person to remember the details? Kind of like that band that went around. They had the 49 pages of details, and they had to have brown M&Ms.
Those Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones,
just to see if they read them all the way through. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they knew if there wasn't brown M&Ms in their hotel room or wherever in their green room, they didn't know what else they missed. They're like, they probably missed some crucial stuff. So sorry to interrupt.
No,
I just wanted to brown nose a little bit.
Let me just share that Alex is for hire, so you're welcome to hire him.
We're going to talk.
What it comes down to is just a really strong OCD. And also, another entrepreneurial point, which I'm sure you're learning is, I should get closer, is it's a lot of repetition over and over again until it's constant optimization.
Although we do have to give Nellie a shout out.
Well, Nellie's everything.
She did watch the podcast, or watched a YouTube to find out exactly how to pronounce his name.
That's true, but I knew it anyway.
Thank you, Nellie.
I knew it anyway.
And Nellie is Alex's sister, so she's got
the
background as well.
So, Zoltan, this was awesome. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Coming.
And Molly, final. Well, what we got to remember, Nellie said we have to tell people to go to our Facebook page.
Yes.
And then they have to
like
go
us
to
on our Facebook page.
TheBest.Podcast.Ever.com.
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 So that you'll be alerted when things are coming.
And if you want to find out who won the essay contest, go to
tune in.
GertzbergLaw.com/essay. Anything else we want to get out there to the universe?
One more point about
please.
essays that I've come to realize in the past couple of years is, why didn't I pay attention and pay attention more to essays in high school and in college? I didn't really emphasize the point of why do I need to do this stupid essay?
Yeah.
It's the reason why we argue, even in a bar talk. Like, you need to be good at essays.
Is Zoltan our judge?
No, you're going to be we'll be talking, Zoltan, because you're going to be a judge in next year's essay contest.
Yes.
And I actually really want to stay and talk longer, but I'm late and I got to go. So, folks, thank you for staying with us this long, and tune in next time for another exciting episode of Best Podcast Ever.
Have a great one.
Silly. Later. Thanks, Zoltan.
Thank you, guys.